Hello and welcome. Today we are looking at some of the... Oh, I'm spoiling it already. Some of the new Planeswalkers that have been shown up. And I promise I did not do that on purpose, but it was a very smart move if I did. You know this one already, Luca Bound to Ruin. Yeah, I think it's time to look at these, but also some other art. So let's click on a random one, this one, but also this one and this one, of course. Very important. I had to guess where it was. Yeah, so let's go through that. And the first thing I want to note at, because you probably have seen Luca already, but something really rad is the fact that he has this mind link on top. So his usual power is connecting to one other animal and become a bonder with them. So he can connect with the strongest animals on his plane. Right now he found a new animal, but apparently it was Phyrexianized and he hoped to be able to turn it to his side, but apparently his mind link kind of backfired on him. So the Phyrexians have a sort of, let's say, really literal interpretation of whatever someone's magic abilities are. So in this case they thought, why not metallically link him to the other creature and make them actually one creature. So they made this perfect being. And something else that we can note is that he is probably on the side of Vorinclex. One for the spores that are coming up his legs here and the green bits here, but also the copper. So that is another thing that might show us why he is on their side. And then we see that he is bound to ruin, so that does place him somewhere between Vorinclex and Urabrask. So that's one. Then we have Nahiri, who will be completed. This is not one of the soft versions with the cartoon art. So we see here that Nahiri will be completed, and we have seen that she has been hit with the oil at least. Her abilities surround or are like goading other creatures, but then also getting an equipment card with mana value. Yes, mana value less than, in this case, 5 when she enters back to the battlefield immediately, and it will be a token, and the other card will be exiled, so you won't be able to do this over and over. But the turn 4 mana 5 card is already pretty good, and then on turn 5, if you +1 her once, you might be able to get a 6 mana card back. So that is really strong, and I think you can definitely get some game winning pieces out there. So that is a sort of combo card. Then we have Fresca, who has been completed, which I think is a very cool choice. Betrayal Sting. It does sting to be betrayed. Her thing is poison counters, so a player when she ultimates, which is pretty hard to do because you only proliferate for 1 per turn, so she sort of has a +1. So it's pretty hard to do. It will take you 3 turns after you've played this 6 mana Planeswalker, and if you paid the Phyrexian cost, that will add 2 turns, or add 1 turn, I guess, to your conundrum. But then your opponent gets 9 poison counters, so they only need 1 more proliferation for that. I think that is a pretty hard task to get to, but if there's more proliferation in the set, then maybe it is a bit easier. Then we have the Eternal Wanderer. I think even though this is a rare, this is the strongest Planeswalker we've seen up to this point. Maybe Luca is a bit stronger actually, because he ramps you so hard, and this can be done from turn 4 onwards. Giving you 2 extra mana is really strong. But for the Wanderer, this is a 6 mana board wipe, but you get to choose which creatures stay around. So you get to choose your strongest creature and your opponent's weakest creatures. I think that is a really strong ability, really strong board wipe, even though it's 6 mana and sorcery speed. Then other than that, you can, so it's a -4, she gets to 1 loyalty counter, and then you can keep creating 2/2 double strikers, or you can sort of, I guess, flicker another creature, and that is pretty cool. It seems like she's really taken control of the bouncing ability she's had, and that she's never had a mentor for to teach her. Then we have Kaido. He is really leaning into that ninja vibe, because his static ability is whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, so sort of the thing many ninjutsu cards had from Nihon Kamigawa. You may return one of them to its owner's hand. If you do, you may activate loyalty abilities of Kaido twice this turn rather than only once. So what does that do? You can, for example, stop 2 creatures from attacking, so he does protect himself, which is important on a Planeswalker. Or draw 2 cards. Draw an extra card, I guess, for the creature that got in. So that is really strong. And then create a 2/2 drone. That's really cool, because that means that we will get a token version of his raccoon robot. I forget what it's called. But it has Death Touch, so that is really strong. So it is a sort of kill spell as well, I guess. But then as well, when this creature leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 and you gain 2 life. So not really a ninjutsu sort of commander guy, but he is strong with them still. Okay, we'll leave, I think, Kaido on there. I think he gives us a little bit of hope as we look through this next stuff, through all the art that we've been shown. So there's a cycle coming up, which is the Dominus cycle. We have already seen the white aligned one. I think this will be the red aligned one for the lava coming out of him. He is a little bit confusing because he looks a lot like the black aligned one. This is the black aligned one, as in they are red as well. But the thing is, we see some priests here, which the red one probably would not have. But this one is the Mayhem Dominus, so he sort of dominates through mayhem. So all of the chaos makes people succumb to, I guess, his will, or will have them create mayhem on their own. Then the Carnage Dominus, that is a little bit deeper than mayhem perhaps, because he will just eat you all and you just have to bow down to him anyways, and he will still take you. Then we have the Glory Dominus. This is the way that Elish Norn loves to dominate, I guess, by using glory and using signs and religion, I guess, for them, which is a little bit different than the religion we are used to. But what we also see is that it breaks away all of the statues around it. It wants to be the highest point perhaps, and people still flock toward it, even though it's a really dangerous Dominus to be around. Then we have Tekutal Inquiry Dominus, and this is a really fun one, I think. So the blue aligned faction, the Progress Engine, really loves, well, looking forward, getting knowledge from their enemies, learning a lot about everything. And inquiry has been a word that has been linked to the Fadalken a lot as well. But this time we see him sort of playing out a battle between, I think, Vorinclex and then one of their own minions. So I think he is planning out how to defeat Vorinclex, which I think is a really fun flavor bit, because the blue aligned faction really hates Vorinclex. Then we have the green Dominus, which is about hunger. Why? We see a lot of, I guess, insects around him, which will probably eat away from the sources of this biome, and that is important to a hunger Dominus, because he likes to dominate through bringing hunger to the other creatures. And then the green aligned faction is really about getting the strongest creature out of evolution as possible. So if there's less food, creatures will have to fight more, so the strongest creature will arise faster. I think that is the flavor here. Let's get rid of them all, by the way. You don't see that. But next piece I'd like to show you is a sort of the black aligned new priest-like creatures. This is the Vivisection Evangelist. It feels like Shielder's faction has been going into more of Elish Norn's philosophy lately, with a sort of religion of their own, and they are making creatures like this. And what they do, we don't know yet, but they are very much about I guess, looking into bodies and seeing what they are like. Taking them apart is mostly what they are doing, and yeah, what their goal is unknown, but we are left to wonder. And then there is an Archfiend of that as well, so that sort of points us towards them being demons, maybe, and that would be interesting because there has been a demon aligned Thane in the past, so maybe they have taken over it a bit more, or maybe there's a new Thane, and maybe this is the new Thane, so that would be really interesting. Then we have Contagious Vorak, and what I find interesting about that is that Vorinclex seems to have been starting to use more contagion, more spreading his parasites, maybe that is what it is. And that is new for him as well, because he used to be very simple, but now he is all about the contagion as well. And I think it's cool that they show it in such a big creature, because usually big creatures aren't the thing that is contagious, but this one is. So I wonder how that works. Then we see a little bit more insight into the Melt Web, which is Jin Gitaxias's internet that he's made. So he uses a lot of dead Vedalken brains and minds to make a big pool of knowledge that people can take from, or he can take from at least. And then the Melt Web Curator is what changes this internet. So this is the sort of propaganda, I guess, that he uses to change the knowledge of his people, of all people around that use this internet. So that is interesting. We have this in the real world too, but maybe they look a little bit different than this. Then we see even more about Vorinclex changes, because he uses Rot Priest now. So he has been known to use mold and shrooms in the past, and he used that to make creatures, make weak creatures even weaker, and make the strong have to adapt to this rot around them. So really likes to destroy his own pieces of nature to make nature even stronger. And I think that is cool that he has made a religion out of this as well. So maybe that is a bit of a theme here, that we are getting more and more religion on the Phyrexian plane. And that might be because they've built a large dome, a large sphere around old Mirrodin, so that the suns or moons of Mirrodin, the 5 ones, can shine on them. So they are losing a bit of their color identity, is what I'm feeling is happening here. And they are moving more towards the old Phyrexian society, which was about, I guess, religion and a power structure, at least, that is put down. We have Monument to Perfection. It seems like not all monuments will be like Jin's, about one person, maybe. But this one is about perfection and the 9 spheres, I guess. Which you can see because it moves in a sort of, do you see, like 3 and 3 and 3? Yeah. I can't explain it well, but it's geometric, so there will be an armor behind this, and then there will be 9 spheres for the new spheres of Phyrexia. Then we see something interesting that we haven't seen much about before, but Urabrask has been using these lion-like creatures, and it seems like he has adapted some of them to walk upright, which is a bit of a change as well. So what that means is that he will be using these more and more. I think this is a good move because Vorinclex likes them, and yeah, he can use his evolution to make his own creature stronger as well. Then, oh yeah, I want to point this out because it's really creepy to me, that I was thinking about maybe this upper head is from a real moving giant. And that would be really creepy. Then we have a cool art here where we see a little bit of Shieldred and then Jin and Vorinclex all bowing down to Elish Norn, all asking to cut a deal. And I think that's a really cool piece of art, seeing these 4, I guess, aligned raiders in one room, and how Elish Norn is winning over them. Then we see a bit more about Elish Norn, which is a sinew dancer. What does that mean? Well, he is using his own sinews to dance around and make beautiful patterns in his dance. And why does he do that? That's a good question, but the white-aligned Phyrexians think that well, the skin is sort of evil because it keeps you from being together with each other. The inner layer of skin, sinews and stuff like that, should be close to each other. So dancing them around is a show of, well, look at me, I'm inside out, that's good. So that's interesting, and there will be a more disturbing example of this in a bit. Then we have Maze's Mantle, so Vorinclex will be in the maze, in the Hunter's Maze, and this is a place used for humans that want to become Phyrexians or other creatures that want to become completed. And they will be tested. They have to survive the maze, go through it, but that is a hard thing, and Vorinclex dislikes all the weak people that come through it, so he will be giving some armor, some weapons, some claws to some of the people that go through there, because then the hunt will be more fun. That's what we see here. More about aspirants. These are people that want to become completed, but that is an honor, so not all of them get to be that, so you need to be aligned with the faction you want to be completed in before you get completed. This one already has the Phyrexian sign on his huge forehead, or her, I don't know. Do they have boobs? I don't know. I'm not sure what they are, but you can see that they need to be very smart, and they already seem very dangerous even before getting accepted in the Black and White faction. Then we have a picture about Tamio, who is really reaching into the knowledge of the progress engine. So it is, with this piece of art, I guess revealed, not really revealed. How to say? Agreed upon. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. That she is working with or for Jingitaxias, and she gets a new claw as well, which is a bit of a change in her. We see all the oil spilling from her. She's really delving deep into the stories of her new world and new truths. And then this piece of art, yes, very heavy moment. For one, Ajani has dropped her cloak, and she doesn't have one either. That's one thing that you can see about this. He has a new cloak, that's true, but not hers. Then something else that we see is he has dropped his axe, which he got from his brother, which should have been a very important piece to him, but he has left that behind as well. He does seem to have a little bit of touch from it still, which might point towards him being a little bit sentient still, because there's no use for it, I guess, in the weapon. And then we can see that he is aligned with Elish Norn because his sinews have been put inside out as well. I'm not sure if they can reverse that anytime soon. But of course, other than that, he's fighting a friend, and yeah, that's really, really heavy as well. So looking forward to that piece of story. I think this was a little bit funny as well. We see that the Gitaxians are looking for weaknesses in Elish Norn's bodies, in Elish Norn's soldiers, and that's really cool because it seems like there will be some infighting still. And then last but not least, we see a little bit more about Norn's soldiers, and that they have evolved a bit in their armor as well. They still use the same color scheme, like the white and the really red parts, but now they have more types of priests, so we will need to learn about their, let's say, structure still. And that was it for today. I want to thank you for watching. The videos about the other praetors will be coming up, and I heard that you were looking forward to that, so glad to hear that. They are ready, but I want to learn more about Elish Norn. Vorinclex, I think we'll have a little bit more information about, because he was the first one, and Uribrask will have a big part in this story as well, I think. So we'll wait for that to learn a bit more about them, so it will be a more fun video for you guys. Other than that, have a nice day. Bye.